shifting the discussion into more of like from a VC perspective, and I mean, your esteemed selves here all represent the venture capital mindset. We understand that these sort of, I would say, investments comes with a huge risk component. What are the, I would say, the strategies, tools, I would say ideas that you've used in different investments previously to help de-risk sort of that, I would say, big risk component? Especially, I'm not talking about our space, I'm being more, I would say, sector agnostic. When it comes to deep tech, you know, the return cycle of a deep tech investment is much higher. There is a lot of, I would say, unknowns that are, so from a VC perspective, you mentioned the team, is, if the team is good, that's something that we look at, but like, any other thoughts on that, Mr. Mohammed?
So, we quantified it. So if you ask me, what does NAMA invest in to de-risk? By the way, I mean, we are an early stage fund, pre-seed, seed. So we welcome risk, we embrace it. We are in the asset class that we know we have to be in the riskiest. This is a choice we made. So we embrace it because high risk,
high reward,
high return, right? So we are in the asset allocation in what I call the smart Las Vegas, okay? We know for a fact many of the bets are, but how do you add a layer of confidence and execution? So invest in teams with complementary skill sets. So two friends that have the same common exposure is one to us, right? So team with complementary skill sets and role clarity. The seller knows they're a seller, the doer knows they're a doer, the operator knows they're going after a de-risked business model, right? So we want the Starlink of Saudi, the SpaceX of Saudi. Because if we're taking execution risk, we don't want to take business model risk.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Where it's a good deal, right? But at the end of the day, in pre-seed, because you don't have data, you're not a publicly listed company, you can look at perspectives. You're not where you have streamlined EBITDAs that you can do the modeling. There's not many data points to make the bet. Do we believe in the promise of this early stage team telling us that they're willing to achieve? And then we ask, is this the right team to deliver on that promise?
Absolutely. Mr. Walid, if you can shed some light here.
So I agree with what Mohammed is saying. So for us VCs, it's not about risk, it's about upside. So besides the risk, there's also the illiquidity, because once we invest, we're going to stay with the company at least 5, 7, maybe even more
It's
years,
definitely
right?
very long.
So we care about the upside. So if I want to summarize it, I would think it's 3 things. The right problem. The problem has to be big, huge. The problem has to be urgent. There's urgency behind it. You're not waiting for the market to catch up. And it has to be feasible. So we want the right problem, the right team, and we have to have belief in the team, conviction. That's why I like communities, because that's one of the signals I look at. What's your reputation in the community? What did you do to that community? Are you a value add to the community or not? And we have to develop that relationship as early as possible. It's not a transaction relationship. Like I said, it's 5, 7 years at least. And the right timing. So if you chose that problem and the team is the right team for it, and you say, I want to do it in Saudi, convince me that this is the right timing. The externalities, the success factors are actually there. Just to
we'll get
so
to,
those
we'll
are the
get to
3
this
things
point.
we like. Yes.
Thank you so much. Ustad Fahad.
So I'll talk about de-risking the deep tech.
Please.
And because most of our investment in the US, and VCs, as mentioned, we probably we're not getting into the R&D domain, and that's where government can help. We're very close to early stage deep tech companies in the US, and the methodology that's been done, it's been successful really, where grant and help to reach a product level where VCs can come later on. So we've seen in more than one model, whether it's Ministry of Energy or DARPA or others, where a grant were given to startup to achieve certain technical goals, and then a reward where a demand or opportunities from the government will happen. And we get into in between where it's a growth stage for this company, where, as again, it's hard for VCs to get into more of an technology risk where a government is more involved. So we invested in a couple of startups that has actually graduated of this program, and we're very proud. And I think that model, in a way, could be replicated here and achieve some success.